What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Park Car Conversation. Again, you see us here. We are at Frontier Fine Cars. Alignment. As y'all watch this, I just want you to keep in mind, right? You're always going to be aligned with the right people, the right places, the right things. If you pray about it, and I've been praying about it, and so by not just luck, but just by God's work, a lot of people here have shouted out the man sitting in front of me. I'm going to introduce him in a second. He's going to introduce himself also. But they've sung praises about you. Danny said to me, she was like, listen, you gotta meet him. His story is compelling. He's for the people. And he just, she said it. I remember she said, he's a black king that deserves his flowers.
I don't know who needs to hear this thing, but
So without further ado, I'm going to get right into the conversation. This is Dwayne. You might know him by Dukez. He's done so much, and this is the first time we've ever met. Yeah. But I've heard so much about you, and I've heard your accolades of things. So just, right off the bat, start shooting out. Tell them what you do. Tell them the people that you've worked with, and then we're going to work backwards in this conversation.
Yeah. So
don't mash up the park car things.
But my name is Dukez. Go by DukeyDukez or Dwayne. I am a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And a business owner. I run a video marketing agency called Corex Creative. And I'm a dreamer. So a lot of things that I dream, and I dream with my eyes open.
I love that.
So I've been able to see a lot and experience a lot. So my experiences range from working with the LCBO, working with Canadian Tire, going on tour with Lauryn Hill.
That's one of my favorite R&B artists, soul artists ever to exist, Lauryn Hill. Yeah. All right, continue. I had to say that.
Going on tour with Chronix.
One of my favorite conscious reggae artists ever to exist.
Yeah, and just being able to see the world from a different perspective. I've been to many places, from Somalia to Gambia to Uganda to Kenya to Tanzania. To Colombia, obviously Jamaica, my birthplace. But I've been able to dream with my eyes open, and I'm a risk taker.
So I have a few questions. This is the first time I'm meeting him. Remind you, how is Mama Africa? What is it like being home in Africa?
It's beautiful. Honestly, it's beautiful. There's nothing like people see on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a wealth of opportunities.
Yeah.
The people are beautiful.
Yeah.
I even considered moving there, to Kenya specifically. Mm-hmm. And it's a place where you can see yourself. See people, see successful people that look like you. Mm-hmm. See people in different industries.
Right. And
everyone just loves on each other. I think the difference between North America and like Africa or even the Caribbean, people actually love you for you. Mm-hmm. I think here we move so fast where if I can't do something for you, then we're no benefit to each other. So it's kind of something that I don't do well in. But I like people for who they are, and I mean, we could all help each other in some way, right?
I've always heard, just like Africa, we got to go back. You got to see it. It's not what it looks like on TV. They show different parts.
I'm out there. I'm out there in Bentleys.
Yeah, Africa's
I'm out there in
wealthy.
Mansions, and people got their own islands.
Yes,
like it's a whole different ball game. It's nothing like you guys think.
So right off the bat, whoever's watching this, make it a go. We got to go to Africa.
At least once. You
got to go. And so with all your accolades, okay, like I said, Lauryn Hill, Chronix, two of my top of my artist lists, right? There's also a backstory. There has to be. Because everyone wants to, like, I was at the Lauryn Hill concert, but I don't know Lauryn Hill. She's never seen my face. I would love to just touch her knee. I could. If I could touch her foot, I would take it. Like, it's like, that is top of the line. Not everyone gets there, right? So what did it take to even get there? Like, what do you do? We want to know.
I think it's really as I say, I'm a dreamer. So coming to Canada, I came to Canada when I was 5 with my mom, and my mom took a risk. She was the first risk taker that I've ever met, and she came to Canada from Jamaica, and all I did was see her work and work to just provide something better for me. Yeah. And I think that instilled a level of resilience and just a hunger to just be something. Yeah. And to live life on my own terms, on how I see it. As we grow, people try to box you into their own reality.
That's true.
And, you know, I think that is the biggest thing that stops people from living their full purpose, is them thinking of what other people will think. So I've always had this hunger to just be something. I started off, my mom, one thing about my mom, she put me in a bunch of different things. Like I played the piano, I skated, I did so much things. So through those things and learning, you know, you just learn how to be one with people and also be with yourself. I was the only child too, so I was a little bit spoiled, and I got my own way.
I don't know if any of y'all are watching this, our only child. Y'all are different, okay? Only children are different.
Hey, we get it. We get what we want, and we're gonna do what we gotta do to get what we want too, right? Yeah. So I just built a level of resilience. Entertainment was always my thing. I always wanted to act first, so I wanted to be the next like Will Smith. So I got into acting classes. I took theater, and I did plays as well on stage where you got to improv. I remember.
How old were you when you're doing this?
14.
Oh, early. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember I had to memorize like a 80-page script.
At 14.
On stage, and then if you don't remember, you got to improv. So you just got to the show got to go on. Yep. So I learned a lot through that, and you know, and at the same time, I grew up in Jane Finch too. So you know, I had one foot in the streets and one foot in the industry, and I think that's what kept me safe and that's what kept me sane. Because at the same time, growing up in such a neighborhood, there's so many stories to tell.
For sure.
And that's when I picked up a camera and started recording, and started making something of my friends first. And then they
like vlog style.
Whatever they needed. I shot music videos. I shot skits. I shot vlogs. I did whatever, because the camera became my safety net. Right, the thing that I can turn to, other than turning to the streets, because I had that life too. You know, I got expelled from school, so I didn't always go down the path that, you know, is most safe, because I experienced a lot. I got expelled from school. I had guns under my bed at one point. So I experienced.
Let me just move my chair over.
But no, but I experienced many things, and I think experiences is the best teacher, because it'll tell you what is good for you and what's not good for you. So I know that side wasn't the best, and I know how I felt when I got on in front of a camera, or I know how I felt when I picked up a camera, and I know how I felt when someone seen themselves on a camera. So I explored that more and developed a business out of it.
So we're speaking to someone out there that's watching this, that like wants to take a direction of moving towards film. They like to vlog. I have a lot of people that hit me up. They're like, yo, I want to start a YouTube, friends with my brethrens. Like, what should go next? One, as you can see, you started at 14. There's years that go into it. What you see when people are polished, there's like a back end. There's like years that go into it that might not even like, you know, show for anything. You got to have like a mission and, you know, to go.
I don't know who needs to hear this today, but if you walk into Frontier Fine Cars or fill out a form online and tell them that the Park Car sent you, you will get $500 towards a down payment of your car off the bat. This is for the people with no credit, with bad credit, working on your credit. You will not get denied. They work out the best low interest rates, low payment plans. They have an extensive fleet of vehicles. But if you see a car that's not there, they will outsource it for you just to ensure that you have a seamless process. I personally would not steer y'all in the wrong direction. I know enough people that have gotten their cars at Frontier Fine Cars. So from us to you, enjoy the rest of the episode.
What would be your best advice for, let's say the youth that are watching this? Because I do know, I have been prepped. You work with the youth at some point, right?
Yeah.
What would be your best advice for the youth who are watching this in terms of, chasing the dream and just even like in this social media world, entertainment, film, like what should they do? What's the steps?
Fail fast and fail forward. Those are the the best things you can do, and start now.
Yeah.
And let your experience light the way.
Yeah.
And just believe in yourself, because no one's gonna believe in you like you believe in you. People are gonna look at you and doubt you before they congratulate you.
That is so real. People, don't you ever hear? Even in my own journey, I've heard people say, "Oh, your little podcast." Well, my little podcast getting me paid. Yeah. And it's getting my team paid. Yeah. And it's getting other, you know what I mean? Like we're bringing other people on and, putting other people on, but people have this inclination. It's not cool to support until it's cool to support. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bring us to that journey. Like give us some examples of your
honestly,
life.
like it is so, I always believe I was a boss.
Ooh, talk to him.
I always believe one of my biggest things is like, I want to write someone a check one day. That's what's always been my thing. I'm like, I don't write rhymes, I write checks. And I stood by that, So doing video wasn't just me just doing video. It was me trying to create a business so that I can put money in other people's pockets. Right. Because I know the mentality of being a starving artist, and I never believed in being a starving artist, because creatives run the world. Everything that's designed, from a car to anything you're sitting on, anything you're wearing, is from someone that created that out of their mind. And, oftentimes they get treated like the last on the line item. Oh, we didn't have a budget for that. For real?
Right.
So I got offended by that, and I stood up for my creatives, because I dedicated my life to it, and I dedicated my journey to just be an example. I fell a lot, I failed a lot. I didn't necessarily go the traditional route. And
what's traditional route in your eyes?
Most of this was learned on YouTube. I used to spend nights, hours. I used to skip school to just kind of like watch YouTube videos and apply what I learned. They
call that the university at YouTube.
Yeah. They call it. And this was when YouTube first started, like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
As soon as they gave access to such information, I took advantage of it.
And wait, as a side note, do you remember how long those pages used to take to load?
Yeah.
We're coming from dial-up, no internet to dial-up internet, and now like if we don't got something for 30 seconds, we're like, whoa, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah, we're pissed.
So that's dedication. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think just being able to go through that and just believing in myself, because at that time too, my friends were going to university or going to college, and I'm like, I ain't trying to really do that. You got to go get a piece of paper. I ain't really trying to do that.
School's not for everyone.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. But I went to school, I ended up going to school at Humber for multimedia design and production, and I graduated with honors because I do believe what I do it at the highest level.
Right.
So, I went and I got it, but at the same time, everything that I was being taught in school was what I learned on YouTube already. And on top of it too, I was even teaching the teacher, because technology is always advancing. So what the curriculum the teacher have at that moment, it's already outdated. So me telling the teacher, yo, press this shortcut, boom, bam, they're like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Fair.
So yeah, I looked at technology as a thing that is always advancing, and if you dedicate yourself to staying up to date, then you can be ahead of the curve.
I used to work for the TCDSB. I used to work with youth in high schools, and I used to tell them, listen, like the curriculum might not be for you, I understand that. It's something that you got to get done. You got to get done, right? But with the time that you do have, let's say you're skipping class, or let's say you're not in class and you're finding other things, make sure you are the best. Make sure you're getting ahead because you got the time. And we do have access these days to YouTube. We have access to like all the information. It's there in front of us. And so to reiterate, like the person who made this cup is probably a multi-millionaire.
100%.
The person who made the materials for this chair is getting sourced out and they're a millionaire. 100%. Like there's so many different ways. You just have to be innovative. But not everyone is a risk taker.
Yeah.
So talk to us, okay? You're a risk taker. You're not the kid that are like, okay, school wasn't for you until it was for you. You figured out, some people get pressured by parents, other external factors to go to school. Even connections, because you're with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill is iconic. If you know, you know. Not everyone knows Lauryn Hill. Like, what is that about? Like networking. How did that even come about?
I think, the thing is, it's like one, being a risk taker is you'll be rewarded. No risk, no reward, right? And it's very true. So, taking a risk is going into the dark and being the light.
Ooh.
And
people
the
are
light
scared to go to the dark, though.
Right.
How you went into the dark?
In order to go to the dark, you have to understand that you're a light, and anywhere you go gets illuminated. Right. True. We are lights. We're salt. Right. So, you got to add a little bit of flavor to the world.
Come on, talk to them.
Yeah. So, it's about striking when the iron's hot. A lot of opportunities gets missed because, we want to sleep on it. You sleep on it, you're never gonna wake up.
So were you one of the more impulsive people? Like 100%. Some people are like, okay, let me think about this opportunity. You were just like, let me do.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, being in an environment that that people move slow, you're at an advantage, because if you move faster than them, you're winning. It's not like when you go to New York and someone is selling you a pair of Nikes at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? It's a different mentality. So when you come to a place like Toronto or Canada, people move slow. People are not as hungry, or they're not going to stay up or go outside in the cold to do what they got to do. True. Right? Like if you go to another place where, let's say, the concrete jungle, people are going to be outside in the snow with no shoes on.
Yeah, they're hustling.
Because they just got to do what they got to do, because they know they got to feed somebody.
Yeah.
And when I first went to the States and I seen that, it added a next level of energy to me, where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna do what I have to do. If I want to be something of myself, I know that sleep is not seeing me for a while, at least, and that's just the fact.
But let's talk about the realistic side, because somebody's watching this and like, okay, you know what? Let me go all in. Let me take that risk. But that risk comes with some consequences. Sometimes it's not always sunshine and lollipops. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is there ever a time where you like took a risk and then you were like at a deficit, or you're like, dang, that didn't go how it was supposed to go? Yeah,
man. There's so much.
Talk to us. Tell them. So someone wants to watch it.
I mean, if we're going high risk, then like, at one point when I was like, my business was thriving, a lot of things were happening. Business was great, right? And I seen money that I've never seen before. So mans are trying to like live a little bit at least. Okay. It's like, yo, what's going on? Yeah. But like not knowing, business requires a lot, and I didn't go to business school too. So when you gotta understand your finances, or understand taxes, and understand how to navigate certain situations, you get slapped with some penalties, and then next you're owing $200,000 because your accountant didn't really do the math or whatever it is. So I was stressing. I'm stressed. I didn't want to wake up tomorrow. So mentally it goes through mentally it cripples you, and
Listen, let me tell you, if my credit card gets scammed for like $230 or $300 or $2,000, I'm stressed. I'm calling my bank like, this is not my money. I didn't do this, but $200,000.
But yeah, but then that's the risk of wanting to like do business, right? It's like I don't know these things, but then you're spending money that you know that you gotta that's for taxes, buddy, or that's for this, buddy, or you're taking out money from your business towards your personal, and then you know that you gotta pay back the business,
right?
So you learn along the way. Right. So I mean, I think these are the hard lessons. These are the risk, but also the risk of just having a business and understanding that you got to have a team, and you got to have leadership skills to be able to articulate your needs and your wants, and knowing how to let things go and allow other people to steer the ship, but also allow them to make mistakes. And then you have to have the patience to redirect or guide them.
Lessons, not losses. Like all those, instead of like looking at them like losses, they're all lessons.
They're all lessons. They're all lessons because would I go in crazy debt again the way I did? No. Yeah. Will I make certain decisions? No. But this thing, experiences is the best teacher. So for me to say that I've experienced it,
right?
I can talk about it from a place of, you might not want to do that. And I think that's the biggest thing too when it comes to mentors. Having great mentors in your life can really save years of work.
I agree.
And that's what it is. Like even down to taking the risk. I bought my mom a house, and I would never be able to do such a thing because if I didn't have the mentors in my life to tell me how to do that, I would never think it's possible.
The people you surround yourself with will propel you or keep you back. I fully know that. If you're around people who are doing things, you will do things also naturally.
100%.
And if you're with people who are not doing things, you're not gonna do nothing. You like, how would you? Even if you get a little bit of glow, like it's glow for like, small scale.
To keep the light on, it's not just the light's on and it's on forever, right? You got to keep it burning. Like you get one piece of success, it's not success forever. So you got to keep it going. You got to keep finding ways to keep it lit, you know? So it's just not like the moment you get comfortable is the moment you lost.
This is a question for the people out there so they can have more of a knowledge. If you're a business owner, how much money should you, like, for every money that, like, all the money you make, how much money should you be setting aside for taxes realistically?
Oh, I mean taxes, I mean safely, if you put 20% away for your taxes, then you get the reward at the end.
Right.
Then you're good. But taxes 13-15%, however it is, and it depends on the bracket that you're in too, and all these different things. But
someone out there needs to know it. Like if they're starting a business, there's probably some youth out there that want to start clothing brands, and they start making sales, and they got to start registering it. They don't know exactly how much money to like save back.
Yeah, but always put money away. I mean, I divide it too. So like when let's say you get some money, you got to understand what your operating costs are. So you put that away. You gotta figure out, obviously put your taxes away, and then pay yourself too, right? Know how much you want to pay yourself. So you determine that, whether it's 10, 20, 30%, you do that too. For me, I always put a piece of that away for equipment as well.
Right.
And then once you can start to follow in that, you start to become safe. Like for me, whatever was in my account, I thought that was mine. That's
what most people I think would do. They make money and they're like, wow, this is all spending money, and then they start to get themselves into some trouble.
Yeah. So I urge anyone that is trying to run a business or trying to maintain or scale a business, understanding your finances would be the most important thing.
I don't know who needs to hear this. That person is me. I need to get myself a financial advisor. I think I should.
And then just ask questions. I think it's just ask questions. You can be advised by your circle too.
Yeah.
You know, it's I think a lot of people don't really have open conversations about their finances, which
it's
I
like
think
a shameful thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of touchy.
It's,
like, you know, I have money, but I don't know how.
And that's the thing.
Money,
And that's why I think in Canada, it's people really sort of limit themselves, because in America, like, people have these conversations openly. And then if I'm saying, yo, how much you make a year, and say, yo, how much you make a year, if this person makes $100,000 and you're making $50,000, that is an opportunity to ask, yo, how do I make another 50?
True. Out here, we're in like a stunting culture. No one wants to really kind of like...
But people are stunting on things they don't even have.
That's true.
So it doesn't even make sense, you know? So I think there's a lot of pride and ego in Canada.
Yeah.
And people are just not as vulnerable to what they really want. If you want to be a millionaire, what do you think? You're going to hide your finances this whole time to be a millionaire? You got to ask questions, and someone got to know where you're currently at.
You got to be unapologetic. Like, I make $35,000 a year, maybe even if that, but I'm trying to get to where you're going. Like, put me on. People, I
and
agree.
that's but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't wrong with that. You know, and if you have good people around there, be like, yo, X, Y, and Z. Yo, you know what? When you make some money, put 10% away at least. Or yo, you know about investing? Put something into some stocks and leave it for 3, 4, 5 years.
Good tip.
And then you know, just turn a blind eye to it and then see what happens.
Good tip. You're dropping gems for the people. This is the gems. This is why you're on this show. Someone like just praised your, you know, your glory and all the things that you've done. This all comes with, like, after you're gone, I want to stress this. Like, we're all here for a time. After we're gone, like, our physical bodies, whatever we do here will still leave an impact. Hopefully, if you look at things that way. One thing I was told about you is that you spent a lot of time in Somalia. It was Hodan?
It's Hodan, yeah.
Hodan, you kept her legacy alive. Just tell us briefly, like, what that was about and, like, the legacy, what that meant to you. Yeah. Honestly,
that was that. For anyone that doesn't know Hodan, I did a documentary with about her with CBC. So you can find that online. It's called Hodan's Story.
Right.
But she was a light. And she was someone who lived her dreams unapologetically. She put herself in an environment that is currently still in civil war. And she wanted to find the beauty in the destruction. And we went to Somalia to interview entrepreneurs who go back to rebuild Somalia. Wow. So just being with her and seeing her strength. She had 2 kids as well. So there ain't no excuse. She had 2 kids, single mom. She brought her kids with her to do all this stuff too. And she believed in herself. And we went, and she told beautiful stories. We met amazing people. And she showed me a side of Africa that I had never seen before. So I'm just super blessed. God's aligned me with light. I believe that God has really positioned me in front of people who can show me what light looks like. And just really just be you, right? Everyone's unique, and no one should be able to tell you who to be. So she was a light. She smiled. She did so much. I'm talking about we're in Somalia, in the belly of the beast in Mogadishu. I'm driving by banks riddled with bullets, buildings that have been blown up, and we're smiling, right? And life is just so beautiful, even in its destruction.
I'll say amen to that.
And it's the way we look at things. It's the way we perceive things. There's beauty in everything. Yeah. So just to be able to have that experience, that's an experience that's living with me for the rest of my life. Yeah.
And you shared the story also.
And I shared the story, and it's online, you know. Yeah. And to be able to keep her legacy, she got a school named after her in Vaughan.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So you guys can go check that out. And that's what impact does. That's what believing in yourself does, and that's what legacy looks like. So I have an idea of what true legacy looks like. What are we leaving behind? What are you leaving behind? And you got to ask yourself that, because people dying every day.
every day. Like someone even watching this, to put into perspective, we're sitting here today, we could be gone tomorrow. Someone watching this today, you can be gone tomorrow. And people look at me all the time like I'm a picture person. Videos of my kid, of my family, you know, and people are just like, yo, Fina, come on, bro. Like, don't take this. I'm like, listen, you're going to appreciate it one day. Just know. And I've lost people very close to me that like live in my house. And it's like, you know, when people come together, family dinners, I'm now running the slideshow and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you captured that? Like, yeah, like this is what life is about. I'm going to encourage someone. I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't sleep on capturing memories. Okay. Take videos and pictures of everything.
I'm documenting my own life. You know, I got over 10 years of me as young doing what I do. So I believe my story will be told too when I'm at that point.
Absolutely. And so that's beautiful. I just wanted to like stress legacy. And lastly, really quickly, I know you're finding your family too.
Yes,
He has gone back. Backstory, he's gone back to Yad, Jamaica, for everyone who doesn't know what Yad is, right? And you're finding another side. Yeah. And when they told me that about you, right? Like my son, for example, one of his grandparents, he doesn't know. And when he was younger, I kind of try to stress that. I'm like, what if he gets older and starts asking like, yo, who's my grandpa? You know what I mean? There's like that missing puzzle of like not knowing. And there's that importance of like finding, if that's an inside of somebody, like, yo, go find that. You know, I would encourage my son to be asked like later on, like, yo, who is my grandpa? Go find it out. Yeah. That's why I love that for you also.
Yeah. At 18, I felt like a piece of my puzzle was missing. So I was so angry. Yeah. Because I didn't know, you know, my last name's Holness and that's from my dad. So, you know, my mom doesn't have Holness. Nobody in my family that I see every day have that. So I was always questioning it. So I never really knew who I was. And I think it built a level of anger and frustration in me. So recently I got connected with my aunt on my dad's side. So there was another Holness. And then I met my uncle and you know, it really does. When they say, you know, you never know where you're going unless you know where you come from, this really added a level of confidence in me, and my step is 10 times heavier when I walk because I'm no longer feeling like I'm starting from the ground. Right. You know, because when I look back, my grandfather did that already, and now I feel like the hustle that I was in was out of frustration to feel like I had to do figure something. It out. I feel like I had to do something. I feel like I was starting from zero. Right. You know, because I just didn't know anything better. Right. And then now that I get to see my grandfather and what they've built, my grandfather was an architect. He built things. A lot of my family are builders. So it makes sense why I'm building some.
Building your empire in a different way, yeah.
And now I'm no longer looking from the dirt. I'm looking from level 5. So my perspective is a lot different. Say I'm standing on what my grandfather built already. Right. So it feels really good. I feel a sense of relief. Yeah. And not a lot of people, especially black people, you know, we have a lot of pieces though the puzzle's missing. Yeah. So I pray that everyone has an opportunity to put their pieces together because it feels good.
Right. Before we wrap this up, I'm trying to get something out of you, okay? Someone watching this is looking at you, well established, a lot of accolades. You've worked with a lot of people. Yeah. You found yourself. You've been able to buy your mom a house. Yeah. You went $200K in debt. And now you're, you know, where you're at now. Describe a hard moment in your life and how you came through that. Because it looks different for everybody. But wrap that up with just like, you know, that emotional side. Like as a black male too. Because a lot of black men actually can't talk about the dark side of what that like looked like realistically. Yeah. I mean, it's not over. I'm still getting those moments to this day. Like there's some days I don't want to wake up. Or some days like I just don't even believe in myself, you know, because things might not go the certain way. Like, you know, you do so well one year and you don't do so well the next year. Very and you start to beat yourself up over that. So I'm constantly trying to figure my life out because at the same time the food doesn't get on the table unless I get up. I don't have like, oh, you're gonna get paid in 2 weeks. That my life doesn't look like that. So I'm constantly trying to figure out
what's next? Like, what happened? So I'm in my head a lot. I feel like there's a lot of I've developed a lot of mental issues as well, because, you know, like, I'll be home just by myself, like, trying to figure it out, busting my brain, and just trying to be somebody. You know, I'm really trying to be somebody. So, you know, there's a lot of nights where I'm crying all night, or you know, just beating myself up, or I just don't even want to talk to nobody, because I gotta figure out how to talk to myself. But I found a lot of strength in just talking to God.
Amen, brother. I love that. And one thing that I will say, you said it earlier, in terms of like leaving your legacy behind, like building a team, finding your tribe. People will do that, and sometimes we can't do it alone. God, number one, you gotta be able to talk to God. Sure. Because I have nights, even yesterday, I called my manager. Shawnee's behind the camera. Y'all don't see him, but y'all see him in front of the camera one day. And I was just like, listen, I can see why people get depressed and start falling asleep. I was stressed out, and I started falling asleep. I wasn't tired, you know. Yeah. I was just like, I'm just gonna sleep. Forget it. I'm just gonna sleep. Yeah. And he was like, don't let the enemy win, eh? He's like, God is gonna find a way to make this work. And yeah, it all worked out, and all had to actually relate to today, and here we are. Yeah,
it'll all work out, you know. And I think when we try to plan, that's when it goes wrong. You got to trust God's plan.
Amen.
You know, when you try to control things, that's when things go wrong, because you put expectations on the things that you feel need to happen. Ooh. You know, you start to try to control the narrative.
Right.
But you got to understand that God already created the narrative, and you just got to sit back and do your part.
I don't think we need to say anything else. If there was a mic right here, I'll probably just drop it. Listen to God's word, continue with it. We're going to continue to see more of DukeyDukez, Dwayne, Dukes, more things coming from you. I'm excited to see what artists you work with next. And next time you have an artist that I really love, I want to meet them too. I got to throw it in there. Closed mouths don't get fed, okay?
That's it.
But only here at the Parker Conversation. I appreciate you for coming here. Again, Frontier Fine Cars, we're all aligned because it was through Frontier Fine Cars that we found you.
Yeah.
They told me, they're like, yo, there's this guy, DukeyDukez, you got to meet him, and now we're besties.
There we go.
And look at that. So until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in. Much love, more success, more light, more growth.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Peace.
I don't know who needs to hear this thing.